Do you remember the period between 2020 and 21? This was the devastating time when the pandemic was raging in the country and almost everyone had become hopeless and helpless. The pandemic had not only destroyed lives but also the economy of the country. Have you wondered which industry it was that supported the country at the time when goods trade had almost come to a standstill? All borders were closed, protection policies were implemented, and industries were waiting desperately for the lockdown to end. This was our software industry that provided the needed stability to the nation with its outstanding performance. Our Prime Minister has a vision of taking the Indian economy to $5 trillion by 2024-25. If you are able to achieve this path-breaking goal, then we would become the world's third largest economy after USA and China. Can you imagine what would that mean? It would mean that we would be able to efficiently counter China's regional hegemony and would emerge as a regional and eventually global hegemon. Our Prime Minister in his speeches has often highlighted the importance of software industry in achieving the $5 trillion mark. So, in today's video, we are going to discuss the various aspects of and issues relating to the software industry. We will find out what software industry exports are and what are the reasons behind the rise of these exports. We will also look at how the growing software export is affecting our economy and what makes India a superpower when it comes to these software exports. Finally, we will look at the challenges and opportunities that come within. So let's get started. Friends, India's exporting growth is reflected in the data that the government provides. Recently, in March, the government announced that India had achieved its most impressive export target in the financial year 2021-22. This year, we have exported more than $400 billion. Yes, $400 billion. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has called this a Make in India blockbuster. However, we need to understand that these exports mainly comprise merchandise. For example, retail goods. It includes engineering products, petroleum products, gems and jewelry, electronic goods, agricultural products, etc. Apart from merchandise exports, India is also involved in services exports. Service sector includes tourism, real estate, finance, communication, etc. But the biggest industry that is major contributor to the software export is the software industry, also known as IT industry. Before we understand the contribution of the software industry in total export, let's look at what it is composed of. Our software export can be divided into computer and IT services. Computer services include features associated with technical processing like computer programming, hardware configuration, and operating systems handling, whereas IT-related services include new emerging technologies, cloud computing, database management, and other such software services. The major contributor to these software service exports is generally BPO or business process outsourcing. Through BPO, companies hand over the management of their IT services to another company or organization. In the financial year 2020 and 21, Indian software exports amounted to a total of $148.3 billion. And according to experts, in the next financial year 2021-22, the figure reached $250 billion. The software industry has played a major role in the performance of service exports. These numbers naturally led to the question of the reasons behind the impressive increase in software exports. Let's find out. India's economic critics claim that post-COVID, the rise in exports was inevitable. But the most interesting thing is that our IT exports have crossed the pre-pandemic level. In the financial year 2021, when the country was reeling under the crisis generated by COVID, India saw a 4% growth in its software service exports compared to previous year. According to this year's economic survey, between April-December 2021, because of the IT sector, India's total service sector exports rose by 18.4%. According to the RBI September 2021 survey, the total amount of software services export was more than Saudi Arabia's 2021 oil sales. Not only that, according to NASSCOM, software exports impressive figures can reach up to $300 to $350 billion in the next 5 years. To understand its remarkable performance, we also have to understand certain factors. The importance of the software industry has been growing in the country since the early 2000s. Owing to the famous Y2K technical glitch of the United States software system, India got an opportunity to establish itself in the software. Since then, we have not looked back. This process got a further boost with the development of the telecom industry, and availing offshore services became easier. Today, the world is about to witness another internet revolution. With the help of Web 3.0, the world has reached a different internet age. The growing interest in virtual reality and dependence on digitalization, we now have access to things at click of a button. The social distancing norms put in place during the last 2 years of the pandemic has only brought us closer to technology. Many have gotten used to the work from home culture. Many businesses are becoming a part of this internet revolution and are carrying out their operations on digital platforms. The software industry is not only limited to technical fields like data management and supply chain management, but also incorporates social sectors like healthcare, finance, and education. Due to these reasons, Indian IT and engineering service players got a major encouragement. The growing exports have been enabled by the huge and talented engineering population. You may know that most of India's IT exports are achieved through outsourcing. For Western companies, hiring a workforce from India to fulfill their need is quite cost effective. We can understand this phenomenon through China's period of industrialization in the 1980s, when China used its cheap labor as a leverage, apart from other manufacturing incentives, to attract foreign companies to set up factories within its borders. Similarly, today India provides a low-cost but efficient and hard-working workforce to the world. With its talent and potential compared to the West, it becomes easier to achieve the same work at a low input cost. This low input cost of IT services enables companies to launch its products at a low rate in the market. Hence, India's IT sector not only includes MNCs but also MSMEs and startups that are valuable to the growth. So these were the reasons behind India's growing exports. Let's now look at the impact that these exports have made on the Indian economy. According to the International Labour Organization, in the Indian economy, around 53% of gross value addition happens because of the service sector. This is the reason why Tata Consultancy Services is among the world's top 10 IT companies. According to Brand Finance, TCS is today the world's second most valuable IT service brand. Today, our software industry is not just an export superstar, but is also a recruiter superstar. Along with Indian software giants like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, Tech Mahindra, global tech giants like Amazon, Google, and PayPal also coming here to recruit. And the figures have only been rising. According to the Economic Survey of 2022, in 2021, nearly 1.38 lakh people became employed in the IT sector. Friends, we saw how globalization and then pandemic led to a growing demand of India's IT sector and its software-dependent technology. Because of this increasing demand, employees and employers are also increasing at the same rate. A cooperative startup culture is emerging in the country with the support of government's MSME sector related schemes like Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana and other credit guarantee schemes. According to Economic Survey 2022, India's startups have experienced remarkable growth in the last 6 years. Among them, IT and knowledge-based startups have seen maximum growth. This demonstrates the growing importance and demand of the software industry. With the remarkable performance of the MNCs and startups, many Indian cities have emerged as IT hubs. Cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi NCR, Trivandrum have been contributing to this field. In the post-COVID industrial revolution, the contribution of science and technology, especially information technology, has been immense. Dubbed as Industry 4.0, the enthusiasm generated by this revolution has motivated us to contribute at the regional and global level. Our Electronics and Computer Software Export Promotion Council ESC conducts business-to-business meetings at regional and global level and provides an important platform globally to showcase our talent. According to reports, in the entire history of US Silicon Valley, it was for the first time in 2021 that there was a 20% drop in investments in startups and small businesses. This is because of foreign investors who are diverting to other countries in search of low-cost labor. If we talk about this year alone, compared to last year, there was an increase of 25% FDI, in which the biggest contributor was the software industry. These figures hint at a major change occurring in the investment patterns, which could give the needed boost to India towards becoming a $5 trillion economy. But there are two sides of the same coin. While celebrating these achievements, we need to be mindful of the challenges too. Many clients of our software industry are foreign nationals, which means that if clients of a particular country change their interest in the wake of an economic slowdown in that country, then our software industry has to bear the losses. Our data protection and data privacy rules are not well defined. Hence, as we digitize, we are bound to face challenges. The leak of personal data through phishing attacks, online financial scams, the abuse of social media, resulting in a rise of mental and sexual harassment incidents, etc., have become the norm today. A few months back, our former Chief of Defense Staff, General Bipin Rawat, had said that during the pandemic, there was a 500% increase in the total number of cyber crimes. So the question is, can our software industry meet these challenges? Was this growth only limited to the social distancing phase of pandemic? Despite these issues, global consultancy firm Granter claims that the financial year 2022-23 worldwide spending on IT services reached nearly $4.5 trillion. The high spending on the global technology service chain would significantly boost India's IT sector. Almost all top cities are strengthening the pipeline of their software services. Today, Bangalore is considered Asia's emerging Silicon Valley. A big reason for this is the government's encouragement. All cities today are being digitized at a fast speed. Cities like Hyderabad, Mumbai, Chennai are growing IT hubs, the effect of which can be directly felt in the economic progress of city and the state. The growing usage of social media owing to the pandemic has strengthened digital structures. Therefore, the government is motivating the IT sector with a number of incentives. For example, a number of development initiatives were launched like the Skill India Mission, Pradhan Mantri Kushal Vikas Yojana, etc. Government's ambitious plan for the software industry is a proof of its faith in the IT sector. According to proposed plan, in the coming 10 years, the government has drawn a roadmap of exporting IT services worth $1 trillion. The efforts by the government to pass the data protection bill reveals that the government is set to welcome technological progress. By making this process smooth and efficient, the government wants to make our software industry a better and more attractive market. We are living in a time when the major battles are not only being fought with weapons, but also with technology. From space, electronic and cyber warfare to social sectors like healthcare, education and management are gradually becoming dependent on technology. India's IT industry, with its vision and capability, hopes to fulfill the expectation of innovation and technological advancement for which the world currently looks at Silicon Valley. In its journey to be a $5 trillion economy, there is hardly a better time to encourage the contribution of the software industry. So friends, this was a video where we have discussed the software exports of our country. Apart from that, this video is quite relevant from the perspective of UPSC mains examination. Questions related to this topic could be expected in the UPSC GS3 economy section. So we will leave you with a question related to this topic. You could answer it in the comments below. And the question is, the post-COVID world order will witness India's economic growth on the basis of futuristic technologies. Discuss India's software industry developments in the context of this statement. With this question, my friends, that's it for the video. I hope you have liked the video, and if you have, don't forget to share it with your friends. We will meet in next video. Till then, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.